If you're going gray or already have gray hair, you might be feeling like your makeup isn't working the same way it used to. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to tweak your makeup routine so you still look fresh, radiant, and confident. But before we get started, welcome. My name is Dawn. I am a certified color analyst and image consultant, and I specialize in helping women look and feel their best through personal color and style. I'm also transitioning to gray myself, so I completely understand the challenges that come with updating your look along the way. Before we dive into the makeup colors, I have a free gift for you. If you want to make sure you have all the essentials in your makeup bag, grab my checklist. It's called my makeup must-haves. It's a guide to the 10 must-have items you need, and you can download it by signing up for my newsletter at my website. It's beautybydawnb.com. And one last note before we get into the rest of the video. This is not going to be a makeup tutorial. I will be doing plenty of those on this channel in the future. But in this video, I'm just going to give you an overview of the best shades for you as you transition to gray hair. One of the biggest concerns women have in going gray is that they feel washed out. So before we even get into makeup shades, let's talk about skincare. It is true that gray hair can highlight dullness in the skin, so keeping your skin radiant is key. Regular exfoliation 2 to 3 times a week can help remove dead skin cells for a fresher, more youthful look. Next, you want to make sure that you are hydrating your skin. And so make sure you're using the right moisturizer for your skin type and you're applying that morning and evening. That's going to help your makeup go on smoother and again, keep you looking fresh and hydrated. I'll discuss more in-depth skincare in future videos, but let's move on. So now that our skin is prepped, let's talk about how gray hair shifts your overall look. As your hair loses pigment, your skin tone can appear different by contrast, even though your actual undertone hasn't changed. So warm makeup may look too harsh now or unflattering. The goal is to complement your new hair color while still enhancing your natural features. So let's talk about updates to your eye makeup. Step number 1 would be to start to remove warm tones. Let's say goodbye to oranges, golds, and browns. And the best eyeshadow shades are going to be grays, taupes, and plums. And the same thing with eyeliners. So let's swap out those really warm coppers and browns and instead wear gray, navy, or plum. Those are going to give you definition without being too harsh. And depending on your contrast level, you can wear black. As far as mascara, I would recommend a black mascara, or if you want to do something a little fun, how about a blue or a purple? Next, let's move on to cheek colors. So again, let's start to remove those warm tones from our makeup palette. So removing the peaches, the corals, the warm bronzes that can clash with gray hair. Your best blush shades are going to be berries, plums, or roses. And if you're choosing a rose, make sure it has a cool undertone instead of a warm undertone to it. And here's a tip. If you're transitioning to gray hair like I am, you don't have to switch everything overnight. Just start by adding in these colors gradually. I recently worked with a client who, like me, was transitioning. And so I just told her, as her makeup starts to run out and she's replacing her products, just make sure that she is choosing products with a cool undertone, those pinks, those roses, those berry colors, instead of buying the peaches or the browns. Let's move on to our lips. So again, we want to avoid those warm tones. Peaches, corals, and orange-based reds can look off. So what we want to do is focus again on those berries, roses, or cool pink. And if you're going to choose a red, choose a cool blue-based red. And another transition tip is if you are used to warmer lipstick, start with a neutral rose colored first. So that's a really good way to transition into those cool shades. And another thing I love to do is add a gloss on top of your lipstick. So if you have kind of a pink gloss and you add it on top of your neutral lipstick, that's a great way to start to bring in some of those cool tones. Next, let's talk about foundation. And before we do that, I want to give a little bit of a story. So recently I posted a short form video on my social media channels. I was announcing my transition to gray hair, and I was asking women to comment and let me know if they were in the process of transitioning to gray hair or if they already had gray hair. And I had a viewer comment that she had transitioned to gray hair, and she gave me a tip, and her recommendation was to choose a foundation shade that was 2 to 3 shades darker than the shade that she had been wearing before she went gray. Now, while I definitely understand that we can look washed out and we will need to make tweaks to our makeup, I'm going to say that that's probably not the best option for most people. Because ideally, your foundation should match your skin tone. Your foundation should be an exact match to your skin tone, and it should match your undertone. And just because I'm letting my hair go gray, or you may be letting your hair go gray, that doesn't mean that your skin tone changes. So my skin isn't magically going to get 2 to 3 shades darker just because my hair is gray. I definitely understand where she was coming from. She had felt like she lost color and she was simply trying to add that back in. And there's other ways that we can go about achieving that same result. Just like I've talked about throughout this video, we can focus on our skincare to make sure our skin is looking radiant. We can make sure that we're wearing the right makeup shades. And then also, our clothing colors are going to make a big difference as well. So I will be talking about that in future videos, but for now, I would not recommend for most people to just pick a darker foundation shade than what you currently wear. I would recommend that you continue to wear a foundation that is the same shade as your skin tone. But I will say that you want to make sure that you are wearing a foundation that is the same as your undertone. So if you have a neutral undertone, maybe you've been wearing a foundation that has a yellow or a warm undertone to it, and maybe you just never really noticed because you have warmer colored hair and kind of worked together. But now as your hair is transitioned to cool, that foundation might look yellow or orange on you. So really start to look at that, and maybe what you need is a neutral undertone foundation, because most women actually have a neutral undertone. I think it's upwards of about 70% of women have a neutral skin undertone. So if you find that your foundation looks too warm on you, just swatch a neutral foundation and see if that resolves the issue. Again, if you have a cool undertone, you wear a cool undertone foundation, but most women are going to have luck with a neutral undertone foundation. The last thing that we're going to talk about is your eyebrows. So I mentioned this on my last video that as my gray is coming in, I have had to change my eyebrows. So before I had dark brown hair, I was using a dark brunette eyebrow pencil or tinted brow gel. Now that my hair is lighter and the grays are coming in, I've been trying to figure out what shade is going to work with my new hair color. So I had gone with an ash brown pencil for a while and I didn't love it. So now I'm using a dark blonde brow gel, like a tinted brow gel, and I'm really liking how it looks. But I know as the gray comes in more and more, I'm probably going to have to just keep playing around with it to see what works. And eventually, as my hair is all gray, I might have to switch it again. So, just play around with it until you figure out the perfect shade. So if you're looking for a new shade, look for something like a cool taupe or a soft grayish brown to keep your brows looking natural. Updating your makeup for gray hair doesn't mean a complete overhaul. Just a few simple swaps can make a big difference. If you are in the process of transitioning like me, just take it one step at a time. And before you go, don't forget to grab your free makeup must-haves checklist to make sure you have the 10 essentials that every woman needs in her makeup bag. And you can grab that on my website at beautybydawnb.com. So I would love to know, have you updated your makeup for gray hair yet? What's been the biggest change for you? Let me know in the comments. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend. And don't forget to subscribe for more beauty tips for gray-haired women. Well, that's it for today's video. I will see you in the next one. Bye, friends.